What's up everyone, Nightlight9 here, and in this video we're going to go through Battle Tower floor 55. Now, the first thing we're going to look at floor 55 is the battle effects, because there's quite a few of them and they're pretty meaningful. One of them is that enemies take 50% more damage from weaknesses, and we'll see that the biggest weakness they mostly have is ice, so Shiva, Diamond Dust 5, will be a go-to here. The second one is that your summon gauge fills 100% faster, so that's also going to be pretty noteworthy for Shiva. Real quickly, we will look at the enemy info here. There's a whole lot to look at, but to summarize it, basically there's two enemies that are weak to lightning, and all of the rest of them are weak to ice. We will need Circle Sigil, and several of the bosses do poison, so we will also be taking care of that. Jumping into the team, we are mixing things up a bit again, and we're bringing Barret here. Part of this is just because I don't have him as strong, so this will allow us to stay under 142,000 total combat power. Looking at Tifa, I do not have a summon on her. It's up to you. At the end of the day, though, I can tell you, I tried it with Ramuh, and you know, Judgment Bolt only was doing like 5,000 damage to the final boss, and so I thought the debuff was ultimately a little bit more useful, so that's what I went with. We're using Crystal Gloves here just to give her a Thunder attack so that I don't have to put Thunder materia on her, but you could sub out, I've got Fire Breach here just for stats. You could sub that out for, you know, some lightning damage. Tiger Fangs here for the magic attack decrease. That is also pretty useful. Other than that, she's got Circle Sigil Break because that's what we need. Sub equipment, all free items, trying to get stats as good as possible. She doesn't need 7,000 HP. As you'll see with Barret, you could deal with a lot less. Aerith is set up for maximum survivability and heals. High magic defense. Her physical defense could be better, but it is what it is. Heal just below 2k, which will serve us nicely. Aerith here also with Circle Sigil Break because it is going to take quite a bit of hits with the Circle Sigil to break the final boss, so we definitely want to have that. Healing Asuna here to clear the poison. Up here, this water is just for heal, and ultimately, I'm not using Aerith as a damage dealer, so it's okay that she doesn't have any great damage abilities. Sub-equipment, again, always the same here. Free-to-play items, emphasizing heal and survivability. With Barret here, we have about the lowest HP that I would recommend trying this with, 4,500, and he's got pretty good physical defense, pretty terrible magic defense. We went with Shiva Cannon because these enemies are weak to ice, and this is a pretty good ice move. So he'll be using those. For sub-equipment, I'm still using mostly all free items. I mean, we've got Buster Sword here, and it's not even overboosted very much. We've got Nameless here, and I'm using these because his HP pool is so bad because so few of his weapons give HP, at least the ones that I have. So that's why we're putting those on. Diamond Dust 5, very important. He's got a way to do thunder damage. I've also got some Bazaar on him, but I don't really think he'll be using much of that. And then Circle Sigil Break. So that is the team setup, and we will get into the battle. Okay, wave 1, here we go. First thing I'm going to do is kill off this Hedgehog because I like to start with the easiest enemy first. Afterwards, I'm going to skip forward just a little bit because nothing interesting happens until he does ready to pounce. I didn't go over this in my setup, but Lefko Kipseli, Barret's secondary weapon I'm using, has the ability to cast a defense buff. Now, I totally botched this here. I didn't get it off in time, and then I didn't switch stance. So you're about to see how much damage that does at completely messing it up, which was about 5,100. So if that had targeted Barret, he would be dead. That's why it's important to, you know, make sure that you know these things are coming, that you get over at the right time, and, you know, cast your defense buff, switch your stance. And stances always have to take priority when you're trying to get something off. But at the end of the day, we survived, and I decided instead of trying to do a perfect run, maybe it would be good to show people that, you know, you can mess up and still clear this, right? Or even if you can't, right? Like if your Tifa would have died there, it's okay, right? Mistakes can happen, but as long as everybody's still alive, a lot of times it's still worth trying. So anyway, Barrett's secondary weapon, it definitely is super invaluable for this entire floor because all of the Mantis bosses have that leaping slash. It is a physical ability, and you will want to be able to buff the defense of that single target. Heading into Wave 2, I've sped this first part up because there's nothing eventful, but we are basically just waiting to cast Somersault and Diamond Dust. We had targeted the Grass Striker, so we know he's going to die. And Wiggly Hopper is also not very long for this world. So we'll finish off Wiggly Hopper and then turn our attention to the Mantis boss, Yorna Strike. And here, you'll notice I'm on Barret, I am ready, solid barrier, going on Tifa, and if you don't know, you can tell it's going to Tifa because you can see that orange target that's over the left-hand corner of Tifa's portrait. So we know it's her. We got off the buff just like it was supposed to go, and you can see, and we also switched our stances. It did 2,000 damage instead of 5,100. Massive, massive difference. And from here, we can just continue to DPS this Mantis boss while we keep everybody healed up. It's pretty cookie cutter at this point. Just make sure that you're healing everybody. You'll also see that people get poisoned, and you'll want to take that off. Another interesting thing here with Aerith's heal being as high as it is, and it actually takes me a long time to realize that there's a poison on him, but it actually heals for almost 1,000 HP, and it costs 2 less ATB bar. So if you brought Healing Asuna for poison, and your Aerith has, somewhere in the neighborhood of 18 to 1900 heal, you can use that, and I will use it later as just a single target heal to keep people kind of topped up when I don't want to use a Curaga or my full ATB bar. Now, at this point, I'm going to jump forward past about 60 seconds worth of me whittling away this boss, and you can see here I'm using that Healing Asuna just for a 967 heal to keep Aerith's ATB preserved. Okay, coming into Wave 3, I'm going to spend a lot of time explaining things that I messed up so that hopefully you don't. And because this was just not a very clean run, I think mostly there's just so much going on here with all of the different buffs from all of the enemies, all the different debuffs they're putting on, and trying to make sure I do so many things at one time. Sometimes I got a little bit overwhelmed and, I just, clicked some things that weren't in the right order or, didn't quite do things, I guess, perfectly. So I see you Leaping Slash, I jump over to Barret, Solid Barrier Tifa, and here there's an AoE move, this Flame Breath, that I wasn't expecting, so I decided to go ahead and pop the super combo, mostly because I felt like I needed a heal there. I didn't want her to die, and I cast things in the wrong order here. I should have somersaulted before Diamond Dust, but it ended up going afterwards. It's a small mistake, but just be aware of all these different things here. So Leaping Slash comes out, Tifa survives, we cure. Now, this is the next thing that I'm going to mess up, is this red elemental over here. I did not pay attention. I just kind of got a little bit, I was too focused on trying to make sure everybody had solid barrier and this, that, and the other thing. And I should have not been attacking this red elemental because, remember, your summons are going to go at 100% bonus speed on their charge. I mean, look how fast Barret here is charging Shiva. I shouldn't have done all this damage to this red elemental because what's going to happen is by the time I'm ready to cast Shiva, it's going to completely kill that red elemental. And the problem with that is then he's not going to be able to blow up and do all the damage he would normally do to the boss. So, Leaping Slash again, we get solid barrier off, we switch our stances, and again, we barely survive, but it's good enough. And this is where, like I said, I just should have done things a little bit different, but here's the thing. I still was able to clear the floor. So the point of this is you're going to make mistakes, and sometimes when the more that's going on, the more mistakes you're going to make. Another thing to be aware of, for example, is that you see all the buffs that are happening to the boss. He's got 4 or 5 arrows of attack up here, which means that his hits are going to be even more. Now, after you kill that guy, those go away. and so that's going to make things a little bit easier. But from this point on, I'm going to speed up the battle significantly because it took me forever to take this guy down because I just had to keep healing, buffing, healing, casting Shiva, and doing that over and over again. Alright, right about now he's going to do his Sigil Break. So here we go, everybody's going to chip in, but while Aerith's chipping in, she gets really dangerously low on HP. So we go over there, we cure her up, and I notice, she has beyond high potency defense debuff. So I'm getting on Barret, I'm trying to clear some of that up. Finally, we're back to normal here. We're going to do the super combo to try to get as much damage as we possibly can in. Somersault at the right time. Diamond Dust, I believe that's a crit there for 45,000 damage because it does not normally do that much, but you're bound to get some crits in when you have to do, I don't even know how many. I think I probably did 5 or 6 Diamond Dusts to this guy by the time I finally got him down. Man, I was really wishing I would have had that extra damage from, killing that elemental, or not actually wiping him out but letting him explode. But here we go. We're just kind of rinsing and repeating, trying to get as many somersaults in as possible to keep him debuffed so that everybody's doing a little bit more damage. Casting Shiva when it's up. It is one thing that is kind of a saving grace here is that the summons are charging twice as fast, so I am getting Shiva off more and more. And, that's basically exactly what we need to do here. And so knowing that your summon is going to keep charging over and over again at a pretty great rate, just make sure you're focusing on survivability. Now, Royal Webbing, that move he just used, he will always do Leaping Slash right after that. So as soon as you even see that he started that move, Royal Webbing, it's a kind of a quick move, but when you see it, immediately hop over onto Barret, get your solid barrier up. If you're not using Barret, if you're using Sephiroth, do the, I think it's solid barrier is the same ability that Torn Wing has. But whatever that defense up is, just make sure you're casting that because it's kind of a tell, right? So after he casts that, it's coming next. Keep the poison off of everybody as well. It's, like I said, it can be a lot of things going on, a little bit overwhelming at times. But here we go, we see Leaping Slash, solid barrier again, switch our stances. And, we're getting him down. We're surviving little by little. Aerith, this is why I didn't even set her up for damage. She is just trying to keep everybody alive as well as she can. We use a Healing Asuna for a single target heal, which works very nicely. And here, Aerith now has her, or she's about to have Healing Wind up. So we know that we can possibly get the super combo off very soon. And hopefully that'll be enough to actually finish him off. Leaping Slash, no defense debuffs here, so we're going to go ahead and just eat it. I'm feeling pretty confident, plus I know I have Healing Wind as my ace in the hole. Here we go, the super combo, and you can see here how much damage it does. I believe it's going to do under 30,000 total, which makes me think about 30,000. And that is the fight. Floor 55 cleared. If it helped you, leave a comment, leave a like. Thanks for watching.